Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. There has been a change in plans. I was planning to go to the Toyota dealership today to take a look at the Toyota Supra and also to take a look at the Tacoma TRD off-road because that was a request from one of you guys. Unfortunately, I'm inside the garage. Outside is yucky, it's cloudy, cold for Florida standards. I'm wearing a sweater as you can tell, and drizzly. So I decided, well, I gotta postpone that until later, possibly earlier or early next week or so. Instead of doing that, going to the car dealership, what I decided to do, because again, some of you have asked, how do I take care of Wicked? Well, I'm gonna show you the products. I mean, not an endorsement of any of them. Hopefully, eventually they'll endorse me or the channel. But basically what I do and the steps that I use to basically take care of the of Wicked. One thing though, I mean, the car is right now filthy dirty. So I haven't done anything lately, and especially with the weather outside the way it is, I'm probably not gonna do anything for a few days. But let me show you what I do, or not what I do, what I use. I'm not gonna show you how I wash my car, but the products that I use, okay? Okay, so that's basically all the products that I use when I do one of the cleanups in the car, okay? So I do have, to begin with, a pressure washer, right? Which has a couple of receptacles here for, like, for example, the soap and any other thing that you may want to put in there, but I put soap here for car washes. And it has several nozzles. The one that I use is the one specifically for the soap, which is a small nozzle here. So that's what I do. First of all, what I do is basically just take the pressure washer just water, and then pressure wash the entire car, right? And then following that, I either do one of two things. I use a pressure washer and the soap applicator itself to apply the soap, or I use a foamer, to apply the soap to the car. Right. The soap that I'm using right now is this one. It's Turtle Wax Max Power Car Wash, and it has pH cleaning power for any task, and you can actually use different combinations or different concentrations. So you have moderate, so it's 3 ounces, aggressive 6 ounces, and extreme 9 ounces. So this is what I use, and it's here too, to wash the car. That's not a foaming soap though, okay? But you can use it with a foamer and it will do some foam. Before using the foamer, what I use also is the bug delete. That is something that the people that actually manufacture or sell the plastic dip recommend in order to delete, in order to remove the bugs from the front side of the car. And like, for example, right now is love bug season in Florida, at least in this area. So when you're driving down the road and those bugs just basically splatter all over the front of the car, and you have to do the cleanup very quickly because they contain acid, the bugs, and they kind of damage basically the paint and the finish of the car. So I try to do that as soon as I can to remove the bugs from the car or the windshield or any other place that they may be on the car. So that's from the again, manufacturer or retailer, I guess, of the plastic dip. But any other product would probably do the same thing. This one protects the finish of the plastic dip. Okay. Another product that I use, again, before I start washing the car is on the wheels. This one is Black and Plastic Coat Wheel Cleaner by Eagle One. It is interesting because you apply it to the wheel and then the brake dust turns like in a purple type of color. It changes color, so you can see basically how much brake dust is there on the wheel. And you apply it, leave it for about 5 minutes on each wheel, and then I use a pressure washer again to remove that. I may have to do more than one application because brake dust is very stubborn and basically sticks to the wheels, so I may have to do more than one application, but I don't want to wet the wheel between applications, so I will do one application, maybe get a rag and remove the material, do a second application, and then wash the wheel. So this is the one that I use. It's specifically for wheels that are black or plastic coated. So it's black and plastic coat wheel cleaner by Eagle One. If the wheels are actually dry, then I put this, which is Armor All Outlast Brake Dust Repellent. It works very good. So it actually adds like a shine to the wheel. It dries off, but it remains, you know, with a little bit of shine. Well, I like it. I've been using it for many years, and it's a great product. Again, it minimizes the adherence of the brake dust to the wheel. Talking about the wheels and now the tires, I use Tire Shine, Extreme Tire Shine, also by Armor All. But the wheel, I mean the tire has to be totally dry, so I usually, you know, wash the car is dry, the wheels are dry, the tires are dry, and then I apply this with a sponge. So it adds again shine basically to the tire. So again, Extreme Tire Shine by Armor All. So once the car has been washed, there may be areas where neither the soap nor the pressure washer was able to remove the dirt. So I use a microfiber mitten or glove, if you want to call it, basically this one. I think I got it in Autozone. So, you know, gently I apply it in those areas where basically the dirt is still sticking to either the paint or the plastic dip. And obviously I don't want to use the pressure washer too close or in too strong of a setting, because it may actually damage both the plastic dip and potentially the paint. So I use this instead, okay? Last but not least, in order to dry the entire car, then I use, and this is a Ryobi, a leaf blower. So I I just basically, you know, go through the entire surface of the car and the crevices and everywhere basically in the car without touching it to basically dry the car. So I only use the microfiber glove, as I said, in those areas. Mostly, you know, those areas are around the doors, in the bottom of the doors. That's where I use this. And then I dry the entire car just using this, okay? Now for the finishing touches. I don't use any particular glass cleaner. I just happen to have this one. This is the latest one that I bought. It's a Proelite glass cleaner. Any glass cleaner, you know, Windex also will work. I only use it on the exterior, okay? Because the interior windows have the tint, and I don't like using this on the tint itself because I think it may damage it or promote its removal. Basically, it's you know, peeling away from the window itself. So I use it only on the exterior surfaces and the rear view mirror inside, and also obviously the windshield, inside the windshield, you know, in the car. But mostly on the outside of the car. Again, Proelite automotive glass cleaner. Another product I like a lot is this one. Is Meguiar's Quick Detailer Mist and Wipe, and it comes with also clay. So, and I use only this in the painted surfaces, now the black surfaces of the car. So I use the clay, and I remove as much dirt that is adhered to the paint, basically. And then I put a little bit of this, a little spray, mist, and then again with a microfiber, I wipe it off. It basically leaves a very shiny finish to the paint job. So I, again, like it a lot. It's not very expensive. I think it was about 15 bucks or so. Okay, so now for the finishing touches. The car is clean, totally, you know, in good shape and shiny. Well, the plastic dip people, you know, sells this to protect the plastic dip. It's called dip coat, used after dipping. Basically, you clean the car and you spray this on the dip, and it's supposed to, again, protect the surface and protect the material itself. Plastic dip is nothing more than rubber. It's a rubberized material that you can actually spray, and that's why it's so, you know, very easy basically to peel it off. But now what I've done is I'm using, instead of this one, because this one is very expensive. I think that the shop where I bought it This one is about, I think it's $20+ or so. So I started using this, and I used it for about a year, and I only used it in one surface, on one area of the car. So the rest of the car, I used this, and then in the very front, the front bumper, I used Armor All. And what I was able to determine though is that this one actually kept the color of the plastic dip much better than this one. So I think that this one, the Armor All original protectant is, to me, much better than this one, especially for the price, because I think this one is like $5. So that's what I did. I used it on the front bumper and the grill, not the grill itself, but the front of the car. And I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this area, this is a darker blue that hasn't been, I guess, as oxidized as the rest of the plastic dip, which is lighter, and that's where I have been using this. Or ever since I noted that difference between this and this, now I'm using only this in the entire plastic dip surface of the car. Yeah, because it works great on the surface of the car, the plastic dip surface of the car. It gives it a shine and a protection, against the UV lights, and actually things don't stick as much. If you're talking about like pollen, for example, or bird poop or anything else, bugs, they don't stick as much if this is on the surface. So this is what I don't know if any of you guys have plastic dip your car. I know that I have a lot of haters, to put it all the way, haters of the plastic dip. But as I said, you have to see it in person to really like it, because it is, to me, it is amazing the way it works. It's color shifting. You see the blues, you see the purples, the greens, depending on how basically the light shines or hits the car. You can see different shades of different blues, as I said, purples and greens in the car. And I just love it that way. Eventually, it will come off, and eventually I will change the color too. I'm not a very much fan of black, just black. A black car just blends too much with every other black car. And I wanted to, for this car to be a little bit more different. And I do like the two tones with the blue and the black. Again, I know that a lot of you don't like it at all, but hey, what the heck, my car. So yeah, that's basically what I do in terms of taking care of the car, the exterior, the interior. Oh, I forgot, on the interior, I use leather care. So all the leather surfaces, also Armor All. I'm a fan of Armor All. I've been using Armor All ever since my very first car, and I think it's a great product. Relatively cheap compared to other products in the market that claim to be much better. I don't know, I mean, a chemical to me is a chemical. There may be some additives that are different, but this one does the job. It protects the leather surfaces in the interior, the seats, the steering wheel, whatever else in the interior is leather, I can't remember. But it's a good product and I like it. I forgot to mention that I use also this gizmo. This goes into my drill, and it helps me to remove the brake dust from the wheel, from the spokes of the wheel. So it basically rotates, obviously because of the drill, and it just cleans those very hard to reach areas. And it's a very nifty tool, and it's like a sponge. And you wet it, and then you start cleaning, as I said, the spokes of the wheel, and it just provides an additional level of cleanliness or way to get to those very difficult areas to get to. Okay, so that's another thing that I use. So yeah, that's basically again how I take care of the car. In terms of the oil, I only change it when the car basically says, you need to do the scheduled maintenance or service, and I only use liquid moly oil in any of my cars. I've been using liquid moly for a long time. I think it's much better than many of the other oils out there in the market. So yeah, check it out. I'll put the descriptions or links to any of those or any of the products that I use in the description of the video. If you have any questions related to the maintenance of the car or the exterior maintenance of the car, just let me know. One thing, another note is the CLS 500. It's not here right now. It's been acting up. We thought initially that it was a battery, so we bought a trickle charger. It's a Duralast 2-amp battery maintainer. It's a trickle charger because we thought that the battery wasn't taking charge from the alternator, but we checked it out. We took it to Autozone and they did the checkup and they said everything's working fine. So use the trickle charger to make sure that the battery goes up to 100% or very close to 100%. We used it overnight. We got a faulty signal saying that the battery wasn't taking enough charge, and we thought that that was the reason for now the car giving a lot of warning signals on the ABS, on the EPS, on the brakes, and a bunch of different things is giving a warning signal. Take it to the shop, take it to the shop. Initially, we thought it was the battery. So right now, the car's in the shop, and we're waiting for the verdict from the shop to find out what is it, if it is a short, if it is something related to a fuse, or the sensors are going bad. I don't know what it is. I know that we're also having trouble with the tire pressure sensors. I know those are easily to replace, but it keeps giving us, when the tires are flat or the tires need air, we put air, reset the system, and a couple of days later, it comes back again. So I'll let you know in the next video how the CLS 500 did at the shop and what was the final diagnosis and prognosis for those issues that we noticed. Okay, so sorry, changing plans, but next week I'll make sure that I take a look at the Toyota Supra and the Tacoma TRD off-road. I'm looking forward particularly to see the Tacoma TRD off-road. That was one of the subscribers that said, can you do a review? I'm not very crazy about the Supra, and I tell you why in the next video once I'm actually looking at the Supra. Okay, so until next time, peace.